Batman Arkham Origins online services, as in basically their multiplayer, was unceremoniously killed even though it had been left in a semi-working state for a very long time, until earlier this year. Sometimes I consider myself a little bit of a George Lucas on this channel. Now, I don't mean that I make really interesting movies. What I mean is that we tackle topics sometimes in trilogies. We started out with the video about how to play Batman Arkham Origins multiplayer in 2023, which was still working at the time. I've since posted an update talking about what happened. Then we did also talk about that update in a full-length video talking about how WB basically got rid of this because it was too much fun for people and they weren't playing Gotham Knights, I guess. And now we are on kind of the finale of the trilogy. We're on the Return of the Jedi, or maybe the Revenge of the Sith. Hopefully not the Rise of Skywalker, because I know that one did not land with a lot of audiences, but there were a few other content creators who made some videos on the topic kind of talking about, hey, I'm able to play this game, it's fun, you should check it out for preservation's sake or for the sake of enjoying something that maybe you didn't get a chance to play when you were younger, or maybe you did, and maybe you missed that experience. And I was made aware of it, and I did the same thing because I thought it was really interesting. And from that point on, I had played it for a little while until WB caught wind of this, I guess, and in my opinion, purposely killed the whole thing. There has been an update to the situation. Video game preservation is very important to me, but luckily there are groups on PC who have modded servers and are basically running their own private servers to now be able to play this. That's, I would argue, a version of the emulation argument that is actually very important. You know, like a lot of people will say, well, it doesn't matter if all these games get delisted from a digital storefront or if discs disappear because these people online have backed it up. Sometimes it's not true. Sometimes things slip through the cracks, unfortunately. But in this case, there are groups on PC who have made this playable again on PC. The downside, if you don't have a gaming PC, or maybe you just don't have a good PC in general, in terms of one that can handle games, well, you're not going to be playing this really at all because Xbox and PS3 are no bueno. Not going to happen. In the previous video where I talked about the shutdown, I listed ways that you can contact WB Games to voice your frustration or care with, I guess I should say respect. I was going to say compassion, but I guess I should say basic human decency. Again, if you end up doing that, those are going to be in the comments on the top pinned comment, but I ask you to do so with respect and decency because most likely who you're going to be talking to is not someone who makes all these decisions. It's basically like if you walk into Walmart or Target and you scream at the guy at the customer service desk, you're not actually doing anything except making yourself look like an asshole and ruining that person's day. So if you do talk to someone, please be kind. But what really frustrates me with this whole thing is that there has been an update on it, which is that a lot of people have gotten messages back that are essentially automated saying tough shit, that it did shut down already and that there's no more that can be done about it because they're pretending that it was never actually up again. That's what's really weird to me. I did get a response back from WB Games personally saying, thank you for sharing your thoughts and feedback about bringing back the online multiplayer for Batman Arkham Origins, which is a little bit of a weird statement because it kind of ignores the fact that it was already working until WB, I would say, I mean, like I highly doubt it's like a rogue hacker group went after it. So until I would say WB saw we were having fun with it and shut it down. But it does go on saying, additionally, I appreciate the screenshot you sent me and I'd be happy to provide you with more information about this. I sent a screenshot talking about all the people who do enjoy the game, kind of showing the amount of people in the Discord server who enjoyed playing it, and also the people who were complaining on social media about it going down. They then did copy and paste an announcement from their website saying, per an announcement from the game team in October of 2016, as of December 4th, 2016, the online services portion of Batman Arkham Origins will be retired. We thank those that have joined us to battle over the last 3 years. The single-player campaign may still be played and enjoyed offline. Going on to say, while there are no announced plans to have this mode return or make changes to the behavior of unlockable achievements or trophies, basically saying, hey, sorry, you can't get those anymore, too bad, I have gone ahead and shared your feedback about this with the game team for further review. Although the game team does review all feedback, please note that they are unable to respond individually, but take all feedback and reports into consideration. If you have any additional concerns, please do let me know by sending a response here and I'll be glad to assist further. At this point, I personally decided for me it wasn't worth messaging this same customer service employee again because they're not the one making these decisions, and if what they said is true, they already shared my feedback with the team, and I bet they looked at it and said, oh well, we're still making a lot of money, we don't care. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I do think it's important to actually reach out with some kind of respect and treating people with dignity, because if this is true and this is being shared with the development team, with the actual game team at WB Games Montreal, I do think it's actually important for them to be hearing, hey, look, people did care about this. That's why, again, I have linked in the top comment, in the pinned comment, how you can do so. I also do want to tell you that there is a listed phone number for WB Games actually on their website to contact them for issues like this. I'm not posting that in the comments because I don't really know how that works. Like, I don't want people saying, like, Degenerate Jay said go harass this company. I do think it's worth, I don't want to say pestering them, but kind of being like, hey, guys, look, people care. And I think that unfortunately the way to get people to ever notice that is numbers. But I do think that if you want to take that step to reach out to them, that's information you can find publicly listed by them on their website if you want to respectfully contact them in that way. I never encourage harassment, dogpiling, shitting on people. Like, if you contact them and you're like, hey, you can all go fuck yourselves, I hate you, here's a threat, I really don't think that's ever helpful, one, and two, it's just incredibly douchey and unnecessary. So I never really liked stuff like that, but I also really didn't appreciate kind of the response, because even though this customer service person was trying to help, and I appreciate them, it was very clear that their hands were tied on this, and they were basically just saying the company line of, hey, look, they said it shut down back then. It is what it is. It's also worth noting that they did update their DC Games support page on Arkham Origins as of just a few days ago. Actually, I believe on about the 11th, so it would have been about a week ago, I should say. And then they did update it again earlier today, saying as of December 4th, 2016, the online services portion, blah, 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 shut down. So it's very obvious that they are aware of it. They know that it happened, and in my opinion, they purposely killed it. I don't think the customer service person did. Like, it's not like this customer service person was like going into work like, oh boy, time to ruin somebody's day. Oh boy. But I do believe that what happened is that there is a lot of animosity around Batman Arkham Origins. I talked about this previously in a video if you want to look up like my opinion on basically why WB Games Montreal doesn't like Arkham Origins. That's going to be in the comments as well. I'm going to have a pinned comment with like how to contact them if you want to do so respectfully, and also some of my previous videos on this topic. But I do believe, without getting too far into it, there was a lot of animosity and bad feelings about Batman Arkham Origins. Even though a lot of the people who made it are no longer at the company anymore, there is still a stigma around the company of being the guys who ripped off Arkham City but didn't do it as well. Personally, Arkham Origins might be my favorite story in the entire Arkham saga, but I just did want to note that because a lot of people did not enjoy the game, a lot of people shit all over them when it released, and now there's just kind of a stigma around WB Games Montreal, especially because then they released Gotham Knights, which was received, I would argue, even worse than Arkham Origins. So they're kind of like seen by some people as the guys who ruined Arkham, messed with Arkham City and ruined it, and now the guys who made Gotham Knights, which is just painfully mediocre. So I think a lot of the internet doesn't like WB Games Montreal. It's another reason why I'm constantly saying, hey, don't be an ass to them, because the customer service representative you're talking to is not the guy making the choices. He's just the guy who passes it along. This is what I hate about middle management and what I hate about corporations. You can't get at the guy at the top. They're untouchable. You can't do anything to them. Like, there's nothing you can do to get your message through to them unless you play telephone by giving it to someone else. Like, if you wanted to talk to the CEO of a company, unless it's a tiny company, you're likely never going to talk to them. Who are you going to talk to? Some small management person, middle management maybe, or you're going to talk to a customer service representative. then it's going to be passed up. And my big problem with that is these massive corporations like WB that waste all their money on all kinds of shit, like the marketing for The Flash, which still flopped, by the way. Parent companies like WB that then have WB Games, and then they have Montreal under it, etc., they will use these customer service representatives as a shield. They will use them as a toxicity blocker. So if you go and say, hey, customer service representative, I'm going to find you and tickle you right in the crotch. I'm going to find your ticklish spot and I'm going to go boopity boopity boop. You're not getting that to the people at the top, right? You're not threatening anyone at the top. You're just being an asshole by threatening anyone. But two, you're also not really finding your intended target anyway. You're just ruining someone's day who's probably not getting paid very well to do the job that they do. It's why this kind of stuff frustrates me so much, because they very clearly know that they shut it down again because people were having fun and not playing Gotham Knights instead. And they were like, oh shit, that doesn't look good for us. That's a bad look that people would rather play this game from 10 years ago. Well, let's get rid of that. And now here we are, where basically the only way to get in touch with them is to talk to someone whose fault it isn't. Does that make sense? That's why I'm so frustrated about this, and why I'm so damn careful to lay out the fact that I don't want people going and being mean to WB Games Montreal. I mean, even if you were talking to the people at the top, I still don't think it's worth being mean. I think that says more about us than it does about them. You know, like if they shut down a game and we're like, I'm going to come to your house and throw a rock at your window. I'm using like the least threatening things ever so no one can like soundbite that. But if we were going to do that, right, I think that says a lot more about us as people than it does about them. It also puts them on a moral high ground where they double down and justify what they did, which I also believe they were already doing by refreshing and posting again their same message on the website, basically just saying tough shit, it's gone. In conclusion, there are ways to contact them. I have a lot more backstory to this video if you want to watch any of the linked videos in the pinned comment down below. It really pisses me off, and it equally pisses me off because there's no way to actually talk to the people making these decisions. You can get your message to them, but there's way too many layers of separation with corporations where they can just ignore it. Again, it's also what I hate about these big corporations. You'll see someone have a problem with Walmart's store policy, so they'll yell at a cashier, and this cashier's like, dude, I'm just getting paid minimum wage. I don't make that choice. And the guy at the top who makes the shittiest decision ever, he's just like sitting in his mansion, not caring at all. It's so annoying, and it's why I think it's so important to just not financially support these companies if you don't like their decisions. Maybe it's not worth buying the next WB Games Montreal game. I mean, people already didn't buy Gotham Knights, a lot of people. Maybe it's worth doing that again, since clearly they don't really want our support. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. There are several ways to support this channel if you want to. It's always up to you. Leaving a like and a comment or subscribing are probably some of the biggest ways to support it, but also actually, joining the memberships to get exclusive access to videos, emojis, and more. Also doing things like joining the Patreon, or checking out our second channel, Degenerate Plays, where we play through all kinds of games together podcast style. Maybe checking out my wife's channel, Magical Jill, where we make videos together, or my new horror channel, King of Creepy. All of those things are very helpful to this channel and to me, and I appreciate you very, very much. As a final time, the 50th time saying it, if you do decide to contact anyone, whether you contact the publicly listed by WB Games Montreal themselves phone number, which I am not putting here, or you contact them through official support tickets or through email, please don't be a jerk. Please, I don't know how many times I have to say that. I don't control anyone here, but that's just my plea to you. Please be nice. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shui.